Hello, my name is Jesse Abelman, and I teach Parashat Lech Lecha. In this week's Parashat Lech Lecha, God promises Abraham that he will have children in his old age to continue his legacy. Immediately after God makes this promise, we are told, "V'hamem b'Hashem v'yachshaveha lo tzedakah." And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. Now, it's clear who is believing in the Lord in this sentence. Abraham is believing in the Lord. But the second half, and he counted it for him as righteousness, who counted it for whom as righteousness? According to Rashi, God counted it for Abraham as righteousness, which is to say that Abraham's belief was itself a righteous act, and God considered it so. Ramban takes issue with this and says, is it possible that the simple belief in a promise that God makes should be considered a righteous act? Abraham's a prophet. God is God. It's a special righteous act for him to believe that God isn't lying? So instead he says, no. Abraham counted it for God as righteousness. What is the it? The it is the promise of children. That the miracle of Abraham and Sarah having children in their old age is a gift from God, specifically out of the goodness of his heart, out of his generosity, and not due to any particular merit that Abraham has. Now, these two Mefarshim have two completely divergent understandings of how this verse should be understood. And indeed, of how this promise is understood by Abraham. According to Rashi, God gives Abraham credit for his belief. It is his very belief which predicates God's ability, God's willingness rather, to give him children in his old age. According to Ramban, Abraham recognizes that the future birth of his children is a gift from the generosity of God. These two attitudes reflect two attitudes towards the good things that God gives us in general. We can either see them as merited, as merited from our own good deeds and our own actions, or they can be seen as gifts freely given from God, independent of how we act. But the real takeaway today, I think, is that a simple verse, half of a verse, with 5-6 words, can be read completely differently by two different Mefarshim. This is the kind of work that we try to do in Parashat Lech Lecha, to understand how different Mefarshim can look and read the Torah in different ways and how it can make sense either way. So come and study with us. Shabbat Shalom.